I wanted to ask you, a lot's been covered on the gag order that's come down and the leak that happened. I just wanted to ask if any discipline action has been taken for the person who had leaked the information.
You're talking about the GOA?
Yes.
No, so again, sir, no one was disciplined. We looked into it, and if there was an intentional leak of any of that information, we would have submitted that to our Internal Affairs Division for review.
How would you determine if it was intentional?
It wasn't intentional because we actually had, sadly, a significant reduction in folks in the FOIA staff, but also the software we used was a horrible, clunky software that, like many of our systems, was outdated. It was not an intentional leak. I have to own the mistake for the agency and for our employees, but we've taken steps to ensure that doesn't happen by buying a new software to improve that system.
Okay, thank you. As you know, in November 21st, our office led a letter to the ATF some time ago, found out that there was the out-of-records database, almost 1 billion gun records at the time. My guess is it's over that now. During the Biden administration, we sent a follow-up letter to that and never got a response. In February of last year, we sent the letter again under the new Trump administration. We still haven't gotten a response to it. I realize at the time you were acting director. I don't know if, awaiting confirmation and all that held it up. But I'd like to remind you of that and submit it into the record as well. If we could get a response on that, that would help. There are a number of questions in there that I think would be helpful as we're looking in the public comment period on these proposed rules in regards to how effective traces are and the like. And to your point on enforcement, I thought that was a good point. One of the things I think it's important for us to recognize is traces don't actually stop a crime from happening. It's after the crime has happened. It helps us potentially to find the criminal or find out what happened. But I wanted to ask you about, does the ATF purchase data?
I'm not sure what data. We have.
Like purchase records or credit card records or?
Not that I'm familiar with. We have.
We found out recently that the FBI's been doing that for a few years.
So we had this, I will tell you, we have recently purchased a program, geez, I can't remember. It's an ad tech type thing where you, for example, on your cell phones, my cell phone as well, based on the ads that go through your phone, you can get geolocation data. We have purchased access to that system, but we have not used it for a criminal case because we have not established any sort of policies yet on how we would do it. That system is one that's available to the general public as well. It doesn't identify anyone by name, but it gives us either an IP address if it's connected to a Wi-Fi or the IMEI number on the cell phone so that we would be able to conduct an investigation. It's very new for us, so we haven't used it and want to make sure we establish clear guidelines before we use anything like that.
I only have about a minute left. That opens up a whole new can of worms that we'll probably have to get into at another point. During the Biden administration, the ATF was doing knock and talk visits where basically they would show up on people's doorsteps, ask them, do you have these, we have a record that you have these firearms in your house, do you have them? I imagine the ATF has stopped that practice under the Trump administration.
Yeah, the only time something like that should happen is if we're following up on a suspected firearms trafficking investigation.
But it was happening beyond that. And it wasn't related to trafficking under the Biden administration. You said that in the out-of-business data records, all that is searchable is the serial number. I'm curious what's the mechanics before an ATF agent is able to pop up on somebody's doorstep with a list of what firearms are allegedly in their house?
We won't have that.
Gentleman's time has expired, but I'm going to allow Mr. Sakata to answer that final question.
Because that was happening
so Representative
under the Biden administration. So how did that happen?
We don't, so I can tell you, I don't know what you're referring to specifically, but I can tell you, for example, I get calls when I was an agent, and my folks get calls daily. people either have their firearms lost or stolen, and they say, hey, can you please tell me what my make, model, and serial number is? We have no way of doing it. The only thing we do is tell folks, hey, you should go back to the federal firearms licensee that you purchased your firearm, and if they're still in business, they'll be able to give you a copy of your 4473 so you can report your firearm stolen. So I'm not familiar with how that information